start now. Not this, we go to a new thing. Right? From here. Okay, we can go from here. So can all of you see the OneNote page?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to recall the random variable and the density function. We started with discrete random variable, right? So in previous classes, we studied. So what is the definition of discrete random variable? Can anyone tell me? So this is a map X from this omega full set to R, where omega is a full set, A is the set of events, and P is the probability of the set of events. So this is a collection of events. And this is the probability. So not of any set, we talk about the probability, but talk about the probability of only the events. That is the sets in this script A on the set of events. Okay. So in previous, so this is a map from this omega, big omega, capital omega to R, which assumes, so the range is only finite or countably infinite points values, and we want to talk about this probability. So that means we want to talk about the probability of this thing. So that means this has to be, so these are the countably infinite values. These are suppose which we denote by x1, x2, this way. So it may be finite or countably infinite. And this, we are going to talk about the probability of this thing. So this thing is in A, right? So this is the definition of random variable. Now we talk about the density. So this is P of x is equal to x. So P is defined. X is equal to x is a so x is equal to x is, so can I say something about what is x is equal to x? So here, if x belongs to this set x1, x2, this, then x is equal to x is inside this in this collection, and x doesn't belongs to, then what? Then what is this event? If x doesn't belongs to this image as x1, x2 goes on, then what is x is equal to x? Can anyone tell me? So this is empty set. So this is the definition. P x is equal to, so always you can define x is equal to small x. So you have to know the probability of that thing. It is called the density. Density, discrete density function of x. Okay. And one example we did, remember, Mr. Palli Sai Sarup, your microphone is on. Please off it. So an example is, if you take all these concentric circles, now this is the full radius is 1, and this disk is joined into n concentric disk of radius of radii 1 by n, 2 by n, up to n by n, which is equal to 1. So you are throwing a dart, and in which, so you are throwing a dart, So if it hits the dart, thus the annulus region, I hope, bounded by red circles of radii I minus 1 by n and I by n, then you win some money or point I gave. You win how much you win? Okay, it was okay. I am using the previous notation, so this is I1 and I plus 1 by n. Then you win n minus I. Okay, this point does suppose these points. So x of this omega, so omega is that the dot is in these circles, another region bounded by the circles of radii I by n and plus 1 by n, and this is n minus I. So, and this thing has radius, so not radius, area equal to pi I plus 1 by n squared minus pi I by n squared. So which is equal to 2I plus 1 by n squared. So the density function P of x, so put I n minus I is equal to x. So put the density function P x is equal to x will be so the area of this by the whole area, which is pi, that will be 2 n minus x plus 1 by n squared. Pi is here. So that means the density function is f of x 2 n minus x plus 1 by n square for x is equal to 1, 2 up to n and 0 otherwise. This much we discussed in the last class. Any questions you have? Anything you want to say? So this is a discrete variable. So you are throwing a dart, and dart hits the point. So in which of the anomalous region the dart hits. So that is the, if it hits the the anomalous region bounded by the circles of radii I plus by n and I plus 1 by n, then the random variable will be, discrete random variable will be n minus I. So the values are only 1 by n, 2 by n. Sorry, the values are only starting from like 1 to n. The values of this thing is only 1 to up to n. So this is a discrete random variable. Now then we have something called, means more thing we want, which is called continuous random variable. So in applications, discrete random variable typically denotes the number of objects of a certain type. Like here, like if you want to draw the number of balls from a random sample of size n, number of red balls, you are from a sample of n balls are given, and you are drawing, suppose there are red balls and the black balls, and you are just drawing a ball randomly. So what is the color of that ball? It is red or black. So that is, or suppose how many numbers of red balls you pick in 5 drawings. You are drawing for 5 times, and how many red balls you are picking. That number, that is a discrete random variable. The numbers. But in both theoretical and applications, some natural random variables occur which are more continuous than discrete. So, like one example, now some similar example you want to see. So this is a bigger general thing, means more general thing we will define after this. Before that, we will just see one example. So again, throwing a dart. Sorry, it's not dart. At a disc-shaped target disk, let x be the distance of the point at which the dart hits from the from the origin. Okay, so you are hitting a dart, you are throwing a dart, suppose here. So this is the origin, and suppose you are hitting the dart at here. So this distance, sorry. Take some different picture. So this distance. So this is our new random variable. This distance is our new random variable. So this you can see, this is distance, so these are not numbers. So that means these are more continuous rather than discrete. Okay, so suppose this distance is, the radius is r. of the disk is R. So here 0 less equal to x less equal to R. Okay, let me check how many of you are here. So can you please raise your hand if you are listening to me? Okay, that's good. You can stop now. Fine. So if 0 less equal to x less equal to R, so that means this point. So now you tell me what is the probability of this. What is the probability of x of omega less equal to x? So this is actually this disk, right? So this area, so from this disk you are choosing a point randomly, right? So that means this probability will be, can you tell me what will be the probability of this? Anyone?
X square upon R square.
Very good. That means the area of the disk of radius x by the area of the whole disk. So which is pi into x square by pi into r square. So this is x square by r square. So this type of probability is called uniform probability, where we assume that each part of this total sample space or probability space have the same probability. So that means we are, if we take something, we just have to find the area of that part or the number of elements present in that part. These are called uniform probability. So this probability is x squared by r squared. Now, what is the probability of this, you tell me then? What is the probability that x omega is equal to just x? So that means area of circle of radius x upon, again by the same thing, because you are taking uniform probability, area of
X by R whole square.
Okay, what is area of circle of radius x? Oh, someone has to actually answer something, but I couldn't hear. Sorry? What is the area of circle of radius x?
By x square.
No, that is the area of the disk of radius x. I am taking just the circle. So this area is actually, means you don't know, but it may, you can may guess this area is actually 0. Area of circle, when you are taking in R2 in 2 dimension, the area of circle, straight line, everything is 0. Okay. So this area is particularly 0. So we have talked about this thing. And in this case, we could assume that this is an event. So this thing is an event that we can assume in this example. But we always want to talk about, for if you take any sample space, any discrete, any random variable, you always want to talk about this thing, right? So that means x, that implies omega belongs to this omega is equal to x must be an event. Right, because only if this is an event, then we can talk about the probability of that thing. So this must be an event. In our example, this is an event, right? In the previous example, so this is an event. So this thing, this disk of radius x is an event, okay, in the collection A, in the collection of the script A. But in general, we don't know whether this is an event or not. Right? So just like discrete random variable, in the definition of random variable, we will assume that this is an event. Okay, so is this okay? So we will assume that. So just like if you remember in discrete random variable, you also assume that this type of things are event or in A. We assume this in the definition of random variable. If we just go back probably the previous page, you will see that we assumed that discrete random variables means it assumes only finite or infinite countably infinite values, and each of these values omega, each of these things subset omega belongs to script omega and big omega, and x omega is equal to xi. These are event or uh, set in the collection script A. So similar things also we are assuming here. We are assuming that this will be an event, and because you see that x omega is equal to x, this thing we don't need to assume because this will be 0 in most of the cases. Or even you can prove that from, if we assume this thing is an event, from this you can prove that this thing is also an event, x omega is equal to x. Okay, leave that now. But we have to assume in the definition of random variable that this thing is an event, okay? Because for a general random variable, this thing is not specified. In our examples, we can guess that this thing should be an event. But for a general random variable, this thing is not specifically told, or we cannot assume. For any general random variable, it is not, we cannot prove that. So we have to assume that this thing is an event. So then we start our definition of random variable. So previously it was discrete random variable. Now we'll see only random variable. A random variable x on a probability space x, so it's probability space omega a p is a real valued function x omega, where omega belongs to this capital Omega, such that for minus infinity less than x less than infinity, omega x omega less equal to x is an event. So this is given in the definition. Okay, so this is just a real valued function x omega such that this is an event. Any questions you have? Another definition I will see, then some example. Okay, so one thing I want to mention that discrete random variable is also a random variable. Okay, so random variable is the biggest thing in the family of random variables, which is the biggest thing. So discrete random variable is also a random variable. We will see that later. Now the distribution function or which we also say as cumulative distribution function dot is not there. Which is also denoted as C D if of a random variable x is the function fx which is denoted by p x less equal to x. So this is the probability we are talking about, this thing. So this we denote as the distribution function. This is denoted as fx and this is called as distribution function. Okay. Only one example first see. So in the previous example, means we will see later many examples. Okay, don't worry about examples. So in the previous example, what is fx? So here fx is equal to, by definition, probability of omega belongs to capital omega and x omega less equal to x. So this is x square by r square, right? When 0 less equal to x less equal to r. So that means if we write the definition, write the expression of fx, so this is equal to 0 if x less than 0, x square by r square if 0 less equal to x less equal to r, and 1. Because if the dart is thrown at a point which is greater equal to 1, so that means it can be anything. Is suppose that means if the dart is thrown at a point whose the radius is maybe bigger equal to r, the radius is in the disk bigger equal to r, so that means it can be in the any point of that target, so that means the probability is 1. So I draw the picture. This is r, this is 0, this is 1, so like this. Okay, now tell me if you have any questions. No questions you have?
Hello,
Yes, sir, tell me.
sir. How that fx is equal to 1 for x greater than equal to r? Like I didn't understand.
Right, very good. So that means, yes. So please ask me as many possible questions as possible. Okay. So if It may happen that sometime I'm not able to answer, then definitely I will answer that later. So that means, so suppose this is something r prime. So this radius is r prime, where r prime greater than r. Okay. So that means the point at which the dart is thrown, or the point at which the dart hits, that point is anything from this radius of, from this disk of radius r prime, right? So that point is any point from the radius of, from the disk of radius r prime. But r prime greater than r, and there is nothing, these things, there is nothing here. So that means this point you are choosing, this point is any point from this radius, from this disk, right? So you can choose any point from the target space. So its probability is 1. Right? So that means, what is f of suppose r prime? F of r prime is the probability omega belongs to this script omega, x omega is less equal to r prime. Now its r prime means it cannot be here, these things are empty, so it should be the probability of omega belongs to the script omega, that x omega is less equal to r. So what is this? This is the full space. So this is the full target space. I'm writing in this thing. So that means this is the P of omega, the full target space, the full sample space. So this is equal to 1. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, the 0 1, x is less than 0. Can you explain that again?
Yeah, so x is less than 0 means the distance has to be less than 0 of that particular point. The distance is less than 0. So I'm also adding this. But can distance be less than 0? Omega belongs to the script omega such that x less equal to some, suppose -1. That means okay, the distance is less equal to -1, which is less than 0. But distance cannot be less than 0. So this is an impossible set. So this is empty set. An empty set probability is 0. Is this okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Or any other questions you have? Because this is some this is one of the most crucial part. So I'm defining random variable and also the cumulative distribution function or distribution function for a random variable. So these things you should learn well. So if you have any query, any doubt, please ask me. Okay, another example I will then show to see how. Then we'll talk about something else. We'll talk about some properties of this distribution function. Okay, another example. So x denotes a real number chosen at random between 0 and 1. So you have to tell me these things, okay? So x denotes a real number chosen randomly between 0 and 1. then the cumulative distribution function, cumulative, this is by definition P of x less equal to x. So this is the thing. So I did some different. So this is from 0 to 1, and this is x. So we are talking about the probability of this thing, P of x is equal to x. Right. So this is what? This is the length of this probability is length of 0 comma x by length of by the total probability length of total length 0 comma 1. This is x by 1, so x, right? So this happens if 0 is equal to x is equal to 1. So, or take something different, better. This is not 2. Take something from, this is not 1, take something from 0 and 2. Okay, 0 and 2. So this is 2. So this is 2. This is 2. X by 2. If 0 is equal to x is equal to 2. Okay, then if x is 0, if x less than 0, x, if 0 is equal to x is equal to 1, and 1 if x greater equal to 1. So if you see the picture, this will be this. Right? Any question? So continuous random variables denote more like measurement of
Sir?
physical quantities. Yes, sir.
Sir, it should be 0 less than x less than 2, right?
Right, I'm sorry. So x by 2 and 0 is equal to 2. Okay. And so, okay, so this has to change also.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, also the x which we are choosing should be between 0 and 2, right?
Yes.
Like
So this
any limit we put on x, like this boundary, it should be the number we choose should be between 0 and 2. Like we can't choose
no,
2.5.
no. You see here, this is x by 2, right? So the total length of that interval is 0 comma 2. So its length is 2. So it has to be x by 2. And that point should be from 0 to 2. Is this what you are saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now is this fine, everything?
Sir, but you can't take x greater than equals to 2
Why so?
because x is up to 2 only.
Okay, I'll show you. Means, yeah, you cannot say x equal to 2, but we can always take x less equal to 2, right? So let's see what is f of 2. F of 2 is p x less equal to 2. That means, okay, not 2. Suppose it is 3. Okay, so x is less equal to 3. So that means p of omega belongs to capital Omega, x omega is less equal to 3. But we cannot choose from 3. What you said, we cannot choose 2 by 2.5 or 3. So this means x omega less equal to 2, right? X omega less equal to 3 means x omega less equal to 2, because in between 2 and 3 there is nothing. The interval is from 0 to 2. So x omega less equal to 3 implies x omega less equal to 2, and the vice versa. So this is the whole set. This is the full sample space. This is one. Or maybe if we just use the definition, is length of 0, 2 by length of, so these are again uniform probability space, where we just take the length of the particular thing and divide by the length of the whole thing. Similarly for area. So this is 2 by 2 equal to. Is this okay? Okay, so what we are talking about, the continuous random variables. So there will be something called continuous random variable. So these are random variables. There is something called continuous random variable. Okay, okay. See this one. We will talk about that. Okay, so all examples are done for now. Now some properties of this cumulative distribution function, CT, cumulative distribution function. First property, can you tell me anything? Any property? Okay, you try first. Zero less equal to fx less equal to 1. Is this okay? Because ultimately fx is nothing but probability of some event. So probability of anything is greater equal to 0 and less equal to 1. Second is if you take fb, so suppose a less equal to b, then fb minus fa is p a less than x is equal to b. Can you prove this thing? Can any of you tell me how to prove this thing? No one? Yes, sir. Tell me something. So good.
Sir, you can
Yes.
like take up to like x less than b, that one you can take, and then again a case x greater than a, then take the difference, so it will be between a and b.
Right. Very good. So what you are saying, I'm just doing in my some other language, but the same thing I'm doing. Okay. It will be different. Just so x omega less equal to a. So you are talking about the complement of a, capital A, right? And b is omega such that x omega is equal to b. So here these two things you are taking, Now, what is omega such that a less than x omega less equal to b? What is this? This is b intersection a complement. Right? Because what is a complement? A complement is nothing but omega such that x omega greater than a. So this is nothing but b intersection a complement, this thing. And here also see that as a less equal to b, so capital A is subset of capital B. So we can write b as okay. So here b is equal to b intersection A union b intersection A complement. For any b means for anything we can write this way. We can first take, so this is suppose A and this is A complement. So this is A complement and this thing is A. So if you take these two things are their union is the whole set and they are mutually disjoint, and if you take anything, suppose this is B. So you can write here B as B intersection A union B intersection A complement. Is this okay? This is because B is equal to B intersection the full set omega, which is B intersection A union A complement. So which is B intersection A. This is by De Morgan's law or something like that. B intersection A complement. Okay. Now these two things are mutually disjoint. So what can you talk about the probability of these two things? P of B is equal to P B intersection A union B intersection A complement. This is P B intersection A plus they will be just sum of these two things because they are mutually disjoint. So this is the definition of probability. B intersection A complement. So, and what is B intersection A? You tell me what is B intersection A? Anyone? All of you are sleeping, I think.
The set A itself, sir.
Okay, right. So this is equal to PA because B intersection A is A plus B intersection A complement. So B intersection A complement is nothing but PB minus PA. And what is PB? We just write this. So this is P omega such that A less than X omega less equal to B is equal to P omega X omega less equal to B minus P omega X omega less equal to A. So this is equal to FB minus FA. So you see that FB minus FA is equal to, if here also you want that A less equal to B, then this is P omega such that A less equal to X omega less equal to B. So from this, okay, just see this. If you have any questions, then ask me. Any questions you have? Okay, from this, you can just immediately say something, conclude something. So A less equal to B implies if B minus if A, which is P omega A less than X omega less equal to B, this is greater equal to 0. So that means if B is greater equal to if A. If A less equal to B. Okay, so f is non-decreasing function. If p can be equal to if A, but if p cannot be less than if A. So f is non-decreasing function. Is this okay? Tell me if this is okay or not. Now the next thing is f minus infinity, and we can talk about f minus infinity, and we can talk about f infinity. Okay, just guess what are these two values. What is f minus infinity? I haven't defined yet. And what is f infinity? We haven't defined yet. But what your guts tell you? So what
0
should
and
be
1.
this?
0
How
and 1.
can you guess? So f minus infinity means there is nothing. So it's 0. The probability of nothing is 0, and f infinity means there is everything. The probability of f infinity is 1. So now we define the proper way. What is f minus infinity? This is limit x goes to minus infinity f of x, and this is by limit x goes to plus infinity fx. So you see that if minus infinity means there is nothing, minus infinity means there is nothing, because the value x, the random variable is nothing, right? Random variable is minus infinity, but minus infinity cannot be taken, but something less equal to minus infinity cannot be taken. So that means the probability of empty set, which is 0. And similarly here, what is this? You see, means this is heuristic idea. So if infinity means probability of omega x omega less equal to infinity, means everything. P, the full sample space, this one, right? So this is the heuristic way to prove this, but this is the right way to see this. So now we will prove these two things. Very good. Any questions or anything before I go to the proving? So if you take xn equal to minus n, okay, and take bn equal to, so you have to tell me the whole proof. Okay, I will just give some sketch, and you have to fill up this now. So x omega is less equal to minus n. So you see that p of bn is nothing but f of minus n. So what is now? We can see some structure between this bn. The structure is that bn is become smaller and smaller. So bn is, so b1 contains b2, because this is 0 minus 1, taking everything less than -1, then -2, everything less than -2. So B1 contains B2 contains B3. So this way, okay. Bn contains Bn plus 1. So these are decreasing sets. So B1 contains B2, B2 contains B3, Bn contains Bn plus 1. Now, what is the intersection of all this Bn? What is this intersection? Please, anyone tell me. What is this intersection? Bn.
Bn when n tends to infinity.
Right. So, sorry, what did you say?
Bn when n tends to infinity.
No, we cannot. We for set theory, we don't have any limiting of means. You cannot say limit. You can take intersection or union. You cannot say limit for set theory. So what does it mean? Intersection of Bn means omega belongs to Bn for all n. So that implies x omega less equal to minus n for all n. Right? Bn means x omega is less equal to minus n for all n. But x omega is a real number. It cannot be less than all. It cannot be less equal to minus n for all n. Is it okay? X omega is a real number. So suppose the real number is minus 99 and half. So that cannot be less equal to minus 100 or minus 200. So this set is empty set. Is this clear? X omega less equal to minus n cannot be true for any omega. If this is a real number, x omega is a real number, that real number cannot be less equal to all negative integers. So the set is an empty set. Okay,
So
now
y cannot be less than what did you just say?
suppose so I give you this idea. So how we by these integers we actually break the real number this way, right? This is 0, minus 1, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Suppose this minus 99 minus 98 this way. So any real number in this real line will be in some of these intervals, right? So suppose this is in this interval. This is x omega. So means x omega minus 98 less equal to x omega less equal to minus 97 is in this interval. So x omega can't be less equal to minus 99, right? So this is not possible. So it cannot be that this is less equal to all negative integers. Is it okay?
Like x omega is not in the interval minus 98 to minus 97.
Yeah. So yeah, if this is less equal to minus 99, then this cannot be in the interval minus 98 to minus 97. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
So you can give me any real number. I will show you that it cannot be less equal to all negative integers. Okay. There is some property of real numbers which you can prove. You can use to prove this thing. Okay. So intersection of Bn is equal to empty set. From this, can we say something? Means for this intersection thing, actually, for this intersection thing, when also this property is there that B1 is equal to B2 is equal to B3, Bn, sorry, B1 sub contains B2, B2 contains B3, and Bn contains Bn plus 1. We had one continuity theorem for probability. Can you remember that theorem? The continuity theorem says the continuity theorem says this limit of Bn. See, these are limit of real numbers, so we can talk about limit of real numbers, but limit of set theoretic operations is not possible. Okay, sets, limit of sets is not that way possible. Means if only that one is subset of something, then we can say, but that is not defined. So this is P of intersection Bn, and this is P of Mt. This is 0. Okay. So that implies f of minus f of, so this implies limit n goes to infinity f of minus n equal to 0. Okay. So do you know what is the definition of limit or those things? Means have you clear-cut idea about those things? Like, do you know the epsilon delta definition of limit? Have you read this on this in your first year courses? Okay, so what does it mean by limit of, okay, so okay, I am leaving this for you to check. So this implies, so if you know the epsilon delta definition of limit, then you can check, and if you don't know, then I cannot teach you in this course. Otherwise, if you have any difficulty in checking, then you can ask me in the next class. So this implies limit is equals to infinity minus infinity f of x is equal to 0. So which is denoted by f of minus infinity equal to 0. Okay. So where the thing we use here, from here to here, we'll use that f is non-decreasing. Okay, so we'll take some 2-3 minutes break, then we'll come back. Hello, any questions you have? Okay, if you have no question, then we'll proceed. So the next thing we want to prove that f of plus infinity equal to 1. So this is also by definition limit s goes to plus infinity f of x. So in this case, the function, the limit exists. It may happen that always this type of limits may or may not exist. But for our functions, which are this distribution functions, this limit exists, and this limit are 1 or 0. If it's minus infinity, then it is 0, and if it's plus infinity, this limit is 1. So this happens because the distribution functions are bounded, is greater equal to 0 and less equal to 1, and these are non-decreasing functions. Only because of that, these things are happening, that the limits exist. So how will we proceed? Can you give me any idea? So again, take an to be omega belongs to capital omega, x omega is equal to small n, then a1 subset of a2 subset of a n subset of a n plus 1 subset, and union of a n 1 to infinity is omega, the full set. So again, by this continuity theorem, this limit PAN is P of the union of AN, which is P of omega, which is 1. So this thing you see that, so this is limit n goes to infinity f of n equal to 1. So from this you can prove again by this function is non-decreasing. From that we can show that f of x is equal to 1. Okay. Now the next property is limit x. That means we are taking the limit from right side of fx is equal to f of x0. So we have defined this random variable, not only discrete random variable, we have defined something general, which is random variable. From there we have got this cumulative distribution function, and we are getting all these properties, important properties of the cumulative distribution function fx. So what does it mean by this? So this is nothing but limit x goes to x0, and here we need x is greater or equal to x0. Okay, so this fx is f of x0. So do you know what is this called if this happens? That is, if you are going near the x0 from right hand side, and if we get the limit as fx0, what do we call this thing? Do you know? This is called f is right continuous. So because we are trending to x0 from right side, right continuous at x0. Okay, so dn omega belongs to capital omega, and x omega less equal to x naught plus 1 by n. So bn subset of bn plus 1 that you can check, and intersection of bn, this is called b. So this is, you can check x omega less equal to x naught. So again we'll use this continuity theorem. So by continuity theorem, limit of PBN is P of P, which is f x0. So this implies limit n goes to infinity f of x0 plus 1 by n is f of x0. So this implies limit x x0 f of x is f of x0. So for this last thing, we again need that f is non-decreasing function. Okay, so is this okay? Any question here? Samir Subhas Koshulkar, is there any question you have? Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, Hilagapudi Basava Satish. You ask any question? So from the right hand side, if we go near x0, we will get fx0. What about on the right, from the left hand side? If we go, so this, we are going from this side towards x0. This limit is what we have seen of this density distribution function is f of x0. What about if we go from left hand side? We will get the same fx0. What we will get? So this function, what is said, that this function is right continuous, right? This is said, this function is right continuous. But whether is the function left continuous, can you say that? I want to get G first. So one, you can check that. So I'm not doing this. If you want, I can do in the next class. This will be P such that x omega is less than x0, not less equal to, but less than x0. Which we denote, this thing is denoted by f of minus x0. So see, this is fx0, this is minus fx0. And what is fx0? This x omega less equal to x0. So these two things are not exactly same, may or may not be exactly same. So these two things, so this function may or may not be left continuous, but the function is always, this distribution function f is always right continuous. So f may or may not be left continuous. Now what is fx0? So fx0 plus this not this sorry, this is not this way, the opposite side of x0. So x0 minus, so fx0 is fx0 plus, and fx0 is nothing but p of x omega less equal to x0, which you can write as p of x omega less than x0 plus p of x omega equal to x0. And this is what we say from this. This is f of x0 minus plus p x equal to x0. So see that f of x0 plus equal to f of x0 is always true. Always true. F of x0 equal to f of x0 minus if p x is equal to x0 equal to 0. So in this case, so if this two happens, that if f of x0 plus from the right hand limit is fx0, the value of the function at that point, and this is always true, and then left hand limit is equal to value of the function at that point if p x is equal to x0 equal to 0. So if p x is equal to x0 equal to 0, if and only if it's continuous at x0. Otherwise, if p of x0 x is equal to x0 greater than 0, then we say then f has a jump at x0 of magnitude p x is equal to x0. Okay, so if this happens, that this if is continuous, a random variable x is called continuous random variable if p x is equal to x is 0 for all x. Okay, any questions? Any questions you have? So this random variable, we are talking about continuous, right? When a random variable will be continuous instead of being discrete. So we first define discrete random variable, then we define any random variable, this general random variable. Now we say when a random variable is continuous. Random variable is continuous if the jump at this each point is 0. This is the definition of a random when a function is continuous. If the jump is 0. So here the jump is 0, then we call this is a continuous random variable. And this remark we can say, there are some remarks. So x is a continuous random variable if and only if the distribution function is cumulative distribution function, which is denoted by capital F, is continuous. Okay, and so that is the motivation of saying that this is a continuous random variable. And also this type of things happen. You can check this. Okay, I'm not writing all of the things. This is equal to P A is equal to X is equal to B minus P X is equal to A, and this portion is 0. So this is P A is equal to X is equal to B. Or this thing you can also write as similarly P A is equal to X less than B, and which is again P A less than X less than B. All these things are equal to if P minus if A. Because at a particular point the probability is 0, that's why you can write all this. All this strict inequality becomes inequality. Okay, or the other way. So and the other way. So because at each point the probability is 0, so all this strict inequality becomes equality here. Inequality becomes inequality here. A less than X is same as A x equal to X. There is no difference. And these continuous random variables come more often when we measure is by random variable we measure some physical quantities like spatial coordinates, weights, when we measure weights, times, temperature, voltage. Instead of counting the number, when we measure these things like a length or weight or area or time, temperature, voltage, then the continuous random variable more often arise. So what are the examples of continuous random variables? We already saw two examples, right? These examples we saw. All are continuous, you can see. Zero x less than 0, the first example, that is throwing a dart in a target and measuring the distance of that point from the origin. This is the first example. The second example was, so this is continuous, you can check. The second example, that is when we are choosing a point randomly from the closed intervals in 0, 2. So is 0 is less than 0, x by 2 if 0 is equal to x less equal to 2 and 1 x is greater than or equal to 2. Okay. So these are all continuous random variables. You can check here the cumulative distribution functions are all continuous. Now we want to go to not example. But before going to not example, we want to say something more, then we'll come back to not example. So not example, for not example, let's see some definition. So which are the distribution properties, which are the properties of distribution function? 0 less equal to fx less equal to 1. So these properties we have as derived. F is a non-decreasing function of x. F of minus infinity is 0 and f of plus infinity is 1. F of x plus, this is the right continuous, x for all x. So these are the properties of the cumulative distribution function. Okay,
Can you explain this fourth part again?
Fourth part is I explained again, right? Okay, I am going back there. This one. No, not this one. This one. So limit of x goes to, from the right hand side, x0 is fx is equal to fx0. Can you see this part? Can you see this thing? So Bn we define as x omega is equal to x0 plus 1 by n. Now Bn contains Bn plus 1, that you can check, and intersection of Bn is equal to B, which is x belongs to omega and x omega is equal to x0. So by the continuity theorem, limit of n goes to infinity Pbn is equal to Pb, means that that is the intersection of all this Bn, and which is f of x0. So limit n goes to infinity, what is Pbn? Pbn by definition f of x0 means if f of x0 plus 1 by n is by definition p of bn. So limit n, yes sir.
How did this come x0 plus 1 by n?
Because this is the definition of bn, right? X omega less equal to x0 plus 1 by n. So what is f of x0 plus 1 by n? For x0 plus 1 by n, by just definition, p of x omega less equal to x0 plus 1 by n. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
So instead of Pbn, we are writing f x0 plus 1 by n. This is equal to fx0, right? And from there, I am saying I haven't proved this, but one can prove using the property that the function f is non-decreasing, that this right-hand limit of fx is fx0. That means the function f is right continuous at x0. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask me later also. So these are the four main properties we have got of the cumulative distribution function. So for a probability space is given, for that we have got that, and we have for that we have got, or we have defined the random variable from which we have got the cumulative distribution function, which have all these properties. Okay, first we got the probability space. From that we have defined the random variable from which we have got the cumulative distribution function which has all four properties. Instead of this, what we can do, we can say a function is a distribution function if it satisfies these four properties. So instead of defining first probability space, then random variable, then cumulative distribution function, we can say we can define distribution function directly it is a function, so we are not using this probability space random variable anything. A function from R to R. So if a function function capital F from R to R has the following four properties. Then F is said to be, you can mention cumulative or without cumulative distribution function. Just using these four properties, we are defining distribution function. Is this okay? So just using these four properties, we define distribution function. So there are two definitions, right? One is first define the probability space, then define random variable, then define the distribution function, and which has those properties, four properties. The other way is just we say that some function is a cumulative distribution function if it satisfies these four properties. So these two definitions should be same. Is it okay? So these two definitions should be same, which we are not going to prove. Just I am writing this. It can be proved, but this is not difficult. But maybe a little difficult for the course, for this course. So it can be shown, but these two ways of defining distribution functions are actually same. So it can be shown that if f is a distribution function, then there is a probability space and a random variable x defined on that space such that f is the distribution function of f. So if a function is giving you these four properties, then you can construct a probability space and a random variable x on that probability space, and you can prove that this given function f with these four properties is actually the distribution function of that x. Is this understood? Or if you have any question, then please ask me. Any questions? These are two ways of defining. One, you just define the probability space, then define random variable, then define distribution function, which has, and then you can derive these four properties. Another way is that you just using these four properties, you can say that if a function satisfies these four properties, then the function is said to be a cumulative distribution function. And we are saying that it can be shown that these two ways of defining distribution function is the same. Means if you have probability space and random variable are given, from this if you derive this distribution function, then that has these four properties. And if a function is given which has these four properties, from that you can get a probability space, get a random variable x, and get a function. From this random variable you can get the distribution function, which is the same as the given function. The distribution function you will get from the random variable is the same as the given function. So you see that to construct a random variable or construct a distribution function, we don't need to construct a probability space or a random variable. We just need to construct a function which has these four properties. So you can easily see that we can easily construct a distribution function which is not continuous. So just give me a distribution function which is not continuous. So we just need a function which satisfies all four properties, right? So better is that to think that the function is right continuous, but if function is this is a continuous function, if and only the function will be left continuous. So we want to construct a distribution function which is right continuous but not left continuous, right? So that will be a distribution function which is not continuous. So we have to construct a function construct a distribution function, so which is by definition right continuous but which is not, so that means the function is not random, the function is not a continuous function. So the random variable will not be continuous random variable. So like this is 1, this is 1, so you have to reach ultimately here. This is 0, and suppose this is half. Suppose we go like this, then from here there is a jump. On the left hand side there is a jump. The left hand side there is a jump. So this is not continuous. Not left continuous at x is equal to. Is this clear, or do you have any questions? Is this clear? Any questions you have? So I can't see your face expression. So you have to say whether these things are clear or not. And because I'm teaching for the first time, so I don't know whether my pace is okay or not. Am I going too fast? Okay, now some more examples of random variables. So you know that we learned discrete random variable, then we learned the general random variable. So the question will be that whether a discrete random variable is again a random variable. The answer is yes. A discrete random variable is again a random variable. So a discrete random variable can be thought as a random variable as a particular case of random variable so we have to add more properties for discrete random variable. Here x omega. Yes sir, do you want to say something? I'll be very happy to answer all of you. So here x omega is a finite, so we have to add some more properties. Is it finite or countably infinite set and for xi, so these are the more properties in the range type this thing. So this is an event. These more properties we have to add in the definition of discrete random variable. Otherwise, discrete random variable is always a random variable with some more properties. These are the more properties that the values are finite or countably infinite set, and for a point in the value in the range, this is an event. And some more examples, let x and y be random variable. So these things can be proved, but I'm not proving, I'm just writing. Then for then x plus by for all a b is a random variable. Max and mean are also random variable. So for this we need something more, so that's why I'm not putting here. xy is a random variable. If we just do the product, and this x by y, if p of y omega equal to 0, then x by y is a random variable. Okay, so we can see that discrete random variable is also one particular case of random variable. So now we see that there is random variable, and discrete and continuous random variables are two types of random variables. So we will discuss these two random variables, like discrete random variable and random variable, or more general random variable. We'll discuss parallelly. So one hand we will discuss discrete random variable, other hand we will discuss the more general random variable. So we will now again go back to discrete random variable and we will define probability density function. So we already defined this thing. Okay, before I go there, go to the discrete random variable. Do any questions do you have? Okay, so we define, right? So this is a function from the omega, so this was random variable, discrete random variable. So many times we have mentioned this, so which the values are, possible values are either finite or countable infinite. And these are the events. These are all events. Then you define f of x is equal to probability of x, capital X is equal to small x. Now we saw that this discrete density function this small f has three important properties. First of all, if f x greater or equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. Second, this thing, this almost immediate from the definition, this f x not equal to 0 is a finite or countably infinite set which we denote by x1, x2, xn. And 3 is summation I, this countably infinite or finite summation f of xi equal to 1. So proof is summation I f of xi is equal to, by definition, summation p of x is equal to xi. So this is because these things are all mutually disjoint. So as x is equal to xi are mutually disjoint, and this thing is equal to the whole sample space omega equal to 1. Okay, just do one definition, then we'll stop. So similarly, we see that we have first defined a probability space or sample space. From there, we define discrete random variable. From there, we got discrete density function, for which we have got these three properties. Again, we can define discrete density function without defining probability space or discrete random variable by just using these three properties. By using these three properties, we can directly define discrete density function. We define that, then we will stop. A real valued function if defined on R is called a discrete density function if it satisfies properties, the above properties 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so by these three properties, we can directly define discrete random variable, discrete density function. The same questions arrives whether these two definitions are same or not, which we shall discuss in the next class. Okay, so if you want to leave, you can leave, and if you have any question, then please ask me. No questions? Okay, then we will stop for today.